Okay, welcome to another edition of Teaching English is Fun. This is your host Jim, and today we're going to go over my latest page that I just created here. It's how to master picture description in 5 simple steps. Now, you can follow along actually on my site. It's teachinenglishisfun.com. And go there. You can use the search function up top there. You can also just click on it right here. Notice under latest, and I'll click on it, and here we go. All right, now if you go right here, the first thing you'll see is a lovely picture of a picture window. So I just thought that kind of matched. So today's class actually is this is the site for teachers by teachers, but I figured I'd make this one a little more student centric, right? So we're focusing on things that kind of help students out. So almost every test that you take for English as a second language these days has some kind of portion that involves describing a picture. These are just some simple steps that you can use to help you succeed when you are describing a picture for a test of English proficiency. Now, these are things that I've taught my students in class, and they actually work. So let's go ahead and go through these right here. And if you notice right here, the first thing I did is I have a picture, of a little boy and a bear. So let's go ahead and go through these steps. Step number 1 right here, focus on the main part of the picture. So if you look at this right here, we've got this little boy and we've got a bear right here. So look at the picture. What can you see? This is a picture of a little boy sitting on the ground next to a teddy bear. So pretty straightforward, right? Now, some useful language. Notice right here, we've got this picture shows, right? There is or there are. You could also say maybe I can see, right? So there is like a little boy. There are 5 people in this picture, something like that, right? All right, and then next thing you want to do is you want to describe as much as you can, right? So going back to this picture again, just flip back to that, right? Look at the little boy right there, and then look at the bear. Okay, now try to get that all in your mind and try to describe as much of that as you can in detail. So first thing I did, I thought, how old is he, right? So he's about 1.5 to 2 years old, right? He's got short, fair hair, and he's looking down. Fair hair means like blonde hair, right? If someone has black hair or brown hair, you could also say dark hair, right? So, and he's wearing, and you go back there, we can look at what he's wearing. It looks like it's some kind of dress shirt, maybe. In Korea, people say Y shirt, which is kind of Konglish. We say dress shirt. And it looks like some little baby blue jeans there with some sneakers, right? And you can go through and you can start describing the bear also. Maybe the bear, what shape is he in, what color is he, all those other things right here. Now, some useful language for this. We say in the foreground. In the foreground means in the front of the picture. In the background, it means the back of the picture. And you can also say on the right, on the left. Those are some things you can use. So just to go through this right here, right? In the foreground, I can see that he's sitting on some kind of wooden bridge, right? So I see some pine cones on the ground right there in front of him. And in the background, I can see it looks like part of the bridge right there. You can see where maybe the bridge is suspended from 2 posts right there. And you can also see that there's some woods way back in the background, but they're all out of focus and we can't see them very clearly. All right, now on the right, on the left, you can say the boy is sitting on the left of the picture, right? The bear is sitting on the right of the picture. Now, try to use your imagination to make assumptions. This is step number 3. For example, right, you want to kind of just imagine what's happening, right? You're trying to make a story from what you see. So the little boy looks like he's playing with something on the ground. There are lots of pine cones on what looks like a wooden walking bridge. Maybe he is playing with a pine cone. He looks like he is concentrating very hard on whatever he is doing. It looks as if the bear is listening to him. And that's one of the reasons that I picked this picture. I thought it was a very cute picture because it looks like the bear is actually listening to the little boy or at least paying attention to what he's doing right there. Now, some useful language for this. If you're trying to to make guesses about something. We're trying to make assumptions. An assumption is like a guess about something. So we say, I think, maybe, right? Perhaps. Then there's some modal verbs of deduction that you can use. He must, he can't, he might be, right? And then these are some other things right here. We want to talk about the mood. So you can try to guess the mood of the person. We can say he looks happy. He looks angry. He looks sad. He looks focused, right? So now when you say this right here, he looks, you want to use an adjective after that, right? Now, if we're saying looks like, this is something students always get confused with. He looks like, we want to follow that up with a noun. So he looks like my son. He looks like my cousin. He looks like my nephew, right? If you want to compare with another person, like a famous person, we can say, he looks like Brad Pitt, right? He looks like Tom Cruise, if you want to compare someone to someone else. Now this little boy, it's kind of hard to tell who he actually looks like because you can't really see his face, right? Now, moving along right here, number 4, you can also use personal stories. So, and this kind of helps you tell about things a lot easier. So, use your own stories and examples from your life to speak more. People are much more comfortable when they're talking about their experiences. So talk about yourself, right? For example, when you're describing the little boy and his bear, you can talk about your own experiences. Or in my case, I like to talk about my daughter's experience, right? So this little boy is sitting with his bear, like the bear my daughter has. When she was really young, it was a pretty pink bear. These days, she has played with it for about 6 years. The bear is not pink anymore. Now it is gray and is not quite as soft as when she first got it. It also doesn't have quite as much stuffing anymore. The only thing holding it together now is love. I thought that's a nice touch, right? This bear in this picture is a light brown and about the same size as the little boy. When he gets to be my daughter's age, maybe, right, again, deduction, right, maybe his bear will be gray and raggedy, right? Raggedy means kind of old and worn out, right? So, see what I mean right there? So talking about examples about your life while still describing the pictures of, in this case, a little boy and his bear, but you're more relaxed and more comfortable, right? I use my daughter in this case, but most of us have had a stuffed animal when we were young, so we could substitute that. I think in Korea, a lot of my students had stuffed tigers when they were young. So they could use a tiger to describe something. So try it out yourself, right? Just think of your favorite stuffed animal and tell a short memory that you have of it or a short story about it, right? And let me see here. Now, it is best to think about these questions also when you're looking at these. Think of the WH questions. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Of course, how we know is not WH, but it's part of one of those questions, right, of each picture, right? So and there's some other prompts just to give you ideas. Think about the subject, right? Who's the subject in the picture? In this case, we've got the little boy and we've got this dog, or his bear. The environment, right? The time of day, the weather, the location, culture, maybe if there's some kind of culture right there, like if it's showing some other country and some kind of cultural thing, you can talk about that as well. And then finally, step number 5, practice every day. Now, when my class, we had what we call an OPIC test, right? When that was coming, my students practiced every day. We practiced almost every other day for a week, actually, before the test came, and it worked. Not only did their English increase, but they felt more comfortable when they were describing pictures. So, and I suggested try to describe a wide variety of pictures and look up words if you find something that you don't know how to describe. Now, and on that subject matter, if you do see something that you can't remember the word to, just describe it in some other way. I remember once I had a student who described sneakers as a foot case, right? So it wasn't exactly the correct word, but she got the point across, right? Now, if you get your mind used to doing the activity, then you'll find that during the exam you'll not struggle to find ideas. right? Your ideas will come to your mind quickly and with a little effort, right? So just remember to practice. Practice makes perfect. And speaking of practice, on my page right here, I do have some practice pictures for you guys. So here are a few practice pictures for you to try and see how well you do. And so what I want you to do is try to look at these pictures, and you can go ahead and pause this while you're looking at these and try to describe yourself. So look at picture A right there, right? So notice I put prompts under each one of these pictures. So what do you see? Where is this happening? And does it remind you of anything? Those are just some prompts to try to get you to talk about that picture. So go ahead and take some time. You can pause and try that on your own. All right, and now let me go ahead and tell you what I see. Well, first thing I see a picture of a dog. I see a dog, and he's wrapped in a blanket, and the blanket is wrapped all around him except for his face, and it looks like he's in the middle of a path in the woods. Now, the first thing I thought when I saw this picture, I was reminded of Yoda from Star Wars, right? So, do or do not. There is no try. Anyway, that's what came to my mind. That's a terrible Yoda impression, but so and another thing, like you're looking at this dog, does he look happy? He kind of looks upset. Maybe he looks a little sad. Maybe he's sad because he's wrapped in a blanket, and dogs not always like to be wrapped in a blanket. So anyway, so go ahead and look at that and try on your own. Try to see if you can come up with some descriptions for that, and maybe describe some of the things around them. The fact that there's green trees on either side, and the path is brown and going through the woods right there. All right, and then picture B right here. Picture B. All right, now, what is happening in this picture? What is the mood of the people? And where are they? So, for this one right here, again, you can pause this, try to describe this, but let me go ahead and go through this right away. What is happening? So, in this picture, I see 4 people, right? There are 2 women and 2 men. And there is a little dog also. Now, what is the mood of the people? Everybody is smiling, and it looks like they're having lots of fun. They are all laying on a blanket, which looks like it's probably in a picnic area or maybe in the woods somewhere. They're surrounded by woods behind them, it looks like. So maybe they're having a picnic in the woods. And then if you look closely, you can see that they all have these red Solo cups. So maybe they're drinking. Could be just drinking water or cola or whatever, or they could be drinking alcohol. We don't know. But I also noticed in front of the one guy, he's got a little camera. So maybe they're going around and they're going to be taking some pictures later, and they're out for the day, and they just look like they're enjoying themselves. They look like they're having a very good time, right? So that's nice, simple description of that picture right there. And in the middle of the picture, in the foreground, is a dog. The dog is in front of everybody, and it looks like he's actually walking away from them. Maybe he sees the person taking the picture and he's trying to walk towards them or something. Or it looks like he's actually not looking right at the camera, so maybe he sees a squirrel off to the right side and he's about to go chase it. So again, make assumptions, right? You can kind of guess about something. All right, and then finally, my last practice picture here, picture C. All right, what is happening? How would you describe the overall feeling of this picture? And then who is winning? And have you ever ridden a horse before? So, first thing right here, what is happening? Well, when I look at this picture, the first thing I think is a horse race, right? There's a horse race going on. This looks very intense, and there's a lot of action in this picture. I can see sand being kicked up by all the horses. And it looks like it's a very tight race. Tight race meaning it's a very close race, right? So right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like there's 6 riders overall. You can see, and it looks like the jockey is a person who rides a horse. The jockey, who is in blue and yellow, looks like he's in the lead right now, but it's very close. Coming up on the inside of the track in white and blue is another jockey, and he looks like he may soon pass the man in yellow and blue right there. So you can try to describe that, and then also talk about maybe your own personal experiences. I remember when I rode a horse when I was young. Da 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 da. I've always wanted to ride a horse, but I never had a chance. Right. So you can talk about those type of things. Right. And this is what I mean about finding a wide variety of pictures. So I try to find something where I had a number of people in it. You can talk about them. Had a single subject to talk about, and then also we sometimes have other things where you've got like a wide range of like a scene from a forest or whatever. All right, now I hope that this helps all of those students and teachers out there who may want to help their students do better on tests. And check back, and I will have some more informative classes for you guys. I just noticed that students were looking for ways to study on their own as well as studying in class. So I decided that I would go ahead and get this together for you guys so that you could follow along right here. One of the things that I think you can do is just practicing on your own, and then go to my site, teachinenglishisfun.com, and you can find all kinds of exercises. I've got some that are just for teachers. I've got other things which are for teachers and students, and I think even the things that are just for students that I made, like this, is primarily for students, but if you're a teacher, you can also use this to teach your students and help them get better as they are describing pictures. So, I will leave a detail in the show notes so that you can find this site more easily. And everybody have a great day. And remember that teaching English is fun because I am having a blast.